You should not move to Louisville, Kentucky, and here are 5 reasons why. My name is Sawyer, and I'm a local realtor here in Louisville, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 reasons why you should not move to Louisville, Kentucky. And if I can't convince you, then stick around to the end of the video so that I can show you the top pros and cons of moving to our beautiful city. Now, in order for you to understand the first and second reasons why you shouldn't move here, you need to hear this story. I grew up in a small town called Coleman, Alabama. There are about 75,000 people that live in Coleman County. I moved to Louisville in 2015, and there are about 750,000 people in Jefferson County. Now, in 2018, I visited New York City for the first time. And if you don't know, New York City has a population of about 8.3 million people. So I moved from a city of about 75,000 people to a city 10 times bigger, and then I visited a city that was about 10 times bigger than that. Now, when I visited Louisville for the first time, I was overwhelmed. I almost cried the very first night that we stayed here at the Galt House Hotel downtown because it was so much bigger than what I was used to in my little small town. But then, when I visited New York City for the first time and I walked up and down Fifth Avenue all day by myself, I was more comfortable and felt safer than I'd ever felt in my whole life. I tell you that story to illustrate this point. Have you ever heard the saying that perception is reality? Now, I think that applies when we talk about relocating to another city. The first and second reason why you shouldn't move to Louisville is if you want to move to a really big city or to a really small town. See, it's really relative whether you think that Louisville is big or small based off where you currently live or where you grew up. When I grew up in Alabama, I was so used to 75,000 people in my county that I thought Louisville was massive until I went to a city that was 100 times the size of the one that I had experienced for all of my life. Now living in Louisville, I feel like it's a small town. And when I go back to my hometown, I really kind of feel like I'm in a little village compared to where I live at now. It's a lot like the Henry Ford quote, and I don't know what context that he said this in, but the quote goes something like, whether you believe that you can't or whether you believe that you can, you're probably right. And I think that applies here. Whether you believe that Louisville is a big city or a small town is going to determine your perception of it once you get here. The third reason why you shouldn't move to Louisville is because you want to live in horse country. I understand that Louisville is home of the Kentucky Derby, home of Churchill Downs, and whenever people think of Louisville, they think of the horse races. But that's just a small part of the life of our city. If you're interested in moving to horse country, you're really going to have to move outside of Metro Louisville, and mostly all the horse folks live over in Lexington. The fourth reason that you should not move to Louisville is because you want to move somewhere that has a lot of tax advantages. I've said this in a video before, but the state of Kentucky has state income tax and state sales tax. There are some states that don't have those at all, and if you're looking to move for the tax breaks, you should probably consider moving somewhere else. The fifth and final reason why you should not move to Louisville is because you want to live near the beach or near the mountains. Now, if you've ever visited Louisville, you'll know that Louisville is not home to a beach or home to any mountains. Kentucky is a hilly, beautiful place, but mountainous or beachy, it is not. If you want to go to either of those places, you're going to have to take a decent little drive to get to either of those environments. If you've made it to this point in the video, then that means that you have not been deterred from moving to our city. So you're going to want to watch the video in the upper right hand corner to learn all about the most important pros and cons you need to know before you move to Louisville, Kentucky.